Good evening and welcome to Roundtable. Today we have with us Dean, Faculty of Engineering of the University of Moratuwa, and he is Professor Ananda Jayawardhene. He is also the President-elect of the Institution of Engineers, Sri Lanka. So good evening, Professor.
Good evening.
So, Professor, to start the discussion, I think the best way to do that is giving a little bit of background about yourself, and I think the best person to do that is you.
Of course. Well, I obtained my first degree from the University of Moratuwa in civil engineering. That was in 1983 December, and then subsequently I went to UK and I obtained my Master of Science degree in construction from the Loughborough University, UK, and then Doctor of Philosophy degree in construction management from the same university, and I returned to the university in early 90, and since then I held the post of, say, senior lecturer, associate professor, professor of civil engineering, and I took as the first head of the Department of Management of Technology, and then I was the head of the Department of Civil Engineering, and in 2004 I was elected as the Dean of the Faculty, and since then I have been the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering.
So there's a gamut of experience on the table, Professor. So the question I want to direct to you is that we always talk about universities, and when we talk about universities, our main focus is about education and the link to how people get educated. But today my question to you would be, what will be the role of the university in wealth creation and national development?
Right, Deepamala, as you indicated, normally the role of the university is education, but I think the university has a much bigger role to play. As you quite rightly indicated, that we as an intellectuals in the university, in addition to producing engineering graduates, we need to really support the national development. Now, say for example, the knowledge creation, then research and development, knowledge transfer or technology transfer to the industry, and then support for the policy development, and those kind of activities. So there is a whole range of activities that we need to do being in the university. So I mean, I can elaborate on specific aspects if you want, but that is basically the idea.
So now, like I said, when you say wealth creation, now that is the main point I want to get to. So if you can first define wealth creation and actually how the university can contribute,
right,
then I guess we'll go in deeper and
right,
then look at engineering per se.
Sure.
But before that, to set the framework.
Right. Now, when you say wealth creation, now say for example, the countries become developed countries by creating wealth for a country, like that we create wealth for a family as well. Now, in order to create wealth for a country, you need to sell outside the country. Now, if you sell within the country, normally you pass wealth between the individuals of a country. So we need to sell outside the country. Now, when we sell outside the country, which means that we need to really add value to our products, so come out with our own products. I mean, normally in a developing country, you have lots of natural raw materials and things like that, and that is just in the product side. In the knowledge side, we have quite a lot of other things as well. So what we basically need to do is to add value or create value to our products, the processes and things like that, and then try to use that to generate wealth by selling outside. That's a wealth creation for country.
So in the wealth creation system, who are the main players if you talk about it? University can be a major player,
right,
but I guess there are many players that
certainly
has to be in the context. So
certainly. I think Deepamala, if you consider that kind of a wealth creation, I think I probably use the term this national innovation system, or we sometimes call national innovation ecosystem. Now the countries which develop fast, like Singapore, Korea and things like that, this national innovation ecosystem is there in any country. Now say for example, you have different players. To create wealth for a country, all the players need to act together. Say for example, you have the government coming out with various policies, various incentives, tax incentives and things like that, and providing the directions, then investments and things like that. And then you have R&D institutions, doing research and development activities. then the universities producing the graduates, and then knowledge creation and things like that. Likewise, there are lots of players, and you should have a very clear understanding of all these players: the government from the policy direction, the ministries, R&D institutions, the industry uses the technology and which create products and things like that to be sold outside, and then the educational institutions. All these stakeholders should play together in a ecosystem, and if you all are aligned together, then you have fast growth and wealth creation of a country.
Now, you said this is ecosystem.
Yes.
So is it something to do with economics or environment, or what is it exactly? Can you define that?
It's actually not geographical environment we talked about. It is actually innovation environment or innovative environment that we talked about. So when we have these kind of players working together and understanding, and we know what the other person is doing, that his policies are really aligned with activities that I do, and then obviously there is a fast development in that aspect. So that is ecosystem. When the ecosystem is very efficient, so you have everybody's doing things which satisfy the other person's needs. Otherwise, say for example, the universities will not provide education which is needed for the industry, and the industry is doing something where the government incentives are not there. That kind of things mismatching.
So you're talking about a balance and a coordinated effort among the key players and the stakeholders.
So that's what is called the national innovation ecosystem.
Right. Now, the question I want to ask you is, again, the moment we say engineering, I know it's a vast area. It's very vast actually, but most of the time for laymen and people like us, moment you say engineering, it's like building and construction and bridges and roads.
Right.
But if you can elaborate actually what engineering is, and my question again to you is, what is the role of engineering as a discipline in the role of the progress or development of a country?
Deepamala, is a very broad question. Of course, you probably would have heard that engineers are nation builders, and engineers are the people actually who contribute to raise the standard of living of people. Now, if you consider anything around you, that is engineering. Consider about these glasses, the air-conditioned environment we have, the papers, the things that we are wearing, the spectacles, the pen that we write, the audio visuals, the lighting, everything, the chair that you are sitting, everything is something to do with engineering. So you can say that engineers, of course it is around us, but then the buildings, the huge infrastructure that we talked about, the bridges, the roads, and the very tall building which goes up to about almost 1 kilometer high, and things like that. So then other aspects of telecommunication, the satellite communication, the power generation, water supply, materials development, chemical and processes, earth resources, everything. So basically it's everything is engineering. It's engineers who harness the nature to generate wealth and to enhance or improve the standard of living of people. So it's a great profession.
So now, from that broad question, to narrow it down, Professor, again, because you're also the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering of the University of Moratuwa, can we go into detail, and if you can elaborate the departments under your Faculty of Engineering, then we can break it down actually.
Right. Okay. Now if you consider in a modern world, you have very specialized engineering branches. Earlier it was just civil engineering, military engineering kind of a thing long years ago. But if I specifically talked about my own university, my faculty of engineering,